on a bare hilltop, call up an army against Babylon. Raise a signal flag on a bare hilltop, call up an army against Babylon. Wave your hand to encourage them. Wave your hand to encourage them as they march into the palaces of the high and mighty. I, the Lord, have dedicated these soldiers for this task. Yes, I have called mighty warriors to express my anger. Yes, I have called mighty warriors to express my anger. And they will rejoice when I am exalted.
Hello, Katherine Albrecht here. Good afternoon. It is the middle of a week, and we can say that about it. It is the middle of a week. There is something afoot in our country. I don't know anyone who doesn't feel it, anyone who doesn't recognize it, anyone who isn't on edge. The latest today, we had a shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas. Joshua John, the suspect who authorities believed gunned down two detainees, ICE detainees, and injured a third at a Dallas ICE facility. 29 years old, lived in the Dallas suburbs. Already, both sides of the political aisle are using this tragedy as an occasion to lob insults and angry rhetoric across the political divide. Already, we see people across the country taking pretty predictable and pretty abhorrent responses to this. I'm going to read to you from CNN. Aerial video captured by CNN affiliate KTVT shows officers searching a building where authorities say a gunman fired at a nearby ICE facility in Dallas and shot 3 ICE detainees. Several law enforcement officers can be seen on the roof of the building while others enter. It is believed that he was not aiming for the detainees, but that he was aiming for ICE itself, that he was taking out his anger on customs officials, on U.S. customs policy, potentially on the administration's position with regard to immigration and detaining of undocumented immigrants. The result, if that was his intent, was not to accomplish that. He actually harmed the very detainees that he may have been protesting in a violent and criminal way, but that he may have been protesting their treatment, and instead they have wound up dead. We are still learning details about this. Let me read you the bullet points. This is from CNN. And this is dated update from 15 minutes ago on CNN, Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. If you are watching this live, I am streaming on YouTube. I believe I'm doing that successfully. Let me double check. I think. Pretty sure, and let me know if not. All right, so here is CNN's update on the situation in Dallas. The victims, 2 detainees, are dead. Another is in a serious condition following a shooting at a U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement field office in Dallas, according to the Department of Homeland Security. By the way, all of those terms didn't exist when I first started doing this program. We did not have ICE. We had Customs and Border Patrol. I don't remember ICE existing. Correct me if I'm wrong. We didn't have the Department of Homeland Security either. I remember when that first came out, finding the word homeland to be a little bit disconcerting. When the word homeland was first introduced, it sounded a little too much like, I don't know, Nazi Germany to me. But anyway, Department of Homeland Security. Next bullet point, targeted violence, that's in quotes. The FBI is investigating it, quote, as an act of targeted violence. I don't see how you could shoot a gun at a building and not have it be targeted violence. It is definitely targeted. He wasn't just randomly, indiscriminately shooting into the air like people do in, I don't know, Afghanistan at a wedding. He was aiming, so it was targeted, and you do not shoot bullets at living people and not call it violence. So clearly, this is an act of targeted violence. The shooter, Joshua John, and that's Jahn. I do not know his ethnicity or background, don't know much about him yet. He died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound after firing indiscriminately at an ICE building. Well, indiscriminately is still targeted, but maybe he was not aiming at particular people. He aimed from a nearby rooftop. I don't know, rooftops are getting a little dangerous these days, aren't they? The message, FBI Director Kash Patel posted an image of a bullet casing. I guess this is the latest thing that shooters are doing. They take the bullet casings, and as they're loading the shells, the rounds into their gun, they put messages on them beforehand, knowing that law enforcement will be collecting the shells from the site. And if they have something they want to say, I guess that's the way they're saying it. So what does it say? YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers something, and then it's got me opening. I don't know where that's coming from. I'm going to tell Peter that right now as we speak. I have my little window open so he can let me know what to do about that. I am on Ethernet, so there should be plenty of internet streaming. But for those of you on the internet watching, thank you so much for joining me in my fledgling sort of pre-launch YouTube video streaming. And for everyone else, you can join me in my chat room at Katherine-Albrecht.com. And of course, you can listen on KHNC AM if you're in Jonestown, Colorado. You can also listen on my website if you want to click the Listen Live link. So there's lots of ways to hear the show. And afterwards, you can also click on the radio link on my website and listen to the podcast, the rebroadcast, the recording of this show. Okay, third, so the message on the casing, bullet casings posted by FBI Director Kash Patel. He posted them on social media, and one of them had the words anti-ICE written on it, A-N-T-I-I-C-E, anti-ICE. So presumably this was a shooting that was motivated by anger, hatred, negativity, violence, a desire for harm, bitterness, darkness. I could go on and on. I can pull up some scripture and point to all of these words, strife. And there are lots of things that we are told not to have in the human heart. You could not commit a crime like this without having those things in your heart. So clearly this is a person whose heart was operating incorrectly. All right. Law enforcement searches building tied to Dallas ICE shooting. By the way, I did not intend to talk about this. I have a couple more things to say about it. I want you to be aware of it. I want you to know that it's going on. It is yet another breath-holding moment for our nation. And the part that is really horrifying to me is already the rhetoric, already the failure on the part of officials who are speaking out on this on both sides, a failure to have a proper response to this. All right. Going down. Vice President Vance blames left-wing rhetoric for Dallas ICE facility shooting. Okay, let me see if I can tease that apart. Vice President Vance blames. Whenever there's a shooting, the first thing you do is you do not blame, you do not criticize, you don't do anything negative. You express remorse, regret, sympathy, compassion, and those things must come first. I recently had a little bit of a falling out with someone who I hire and pay to do a job. And this is a job was poorly done. Let's put it that way. A job was poorly done. And normally I'm pretty patient and able to handle, okay, well, here's what needs to happen instead, and let's do it right going forward. But in this particular case, there was a time-sensitive deadline involving other people, and it was going to make me look bad. When I pointed this out that the job had been poorly done. And in fact, not only poorly done, but literally just not done. There were portions of it that were just blown off completely. And I said, this is important. It's time sensitive. This needed to have gotten done. And you knew it needed to have gotten done. The response that I wanted to hear, and if you ever find yourself in a situation where you've screwed up and someone calls you on it, the response that would have been music to my ears, and what do we know from Scripture? It's in Proverbs, a soft answer turns away wrath. The answer that I wanted to hear was, I'm so sorry. That's all I wanted to hear. I am so sorry. I wanted to hear a recognition that things were not right and a recognition that I was not happy. But instead, I got a whole lot of resentment and anger and justification and excuses. All right, well, I think the family of the shooting victims would like for Vice President Vance to say, ooh, this is bad.
Most email programs free? Companies use them as bait to lure people into their system so they can scan their data and sell them to advertisers. It's like a hotel giving out free rooms so they can film people sleeping and then sell the video. You'd never agree to that. StartMail restores your privacy. No one but you sees your sensitive data, and it costs less than a postage stamp a week. StartMail.com. It's email you can trust. Your email is your business. But if it's spied on, hacked, or intercepted, it can fall into the wrong hands. The solution is encryption, a high-tech way to scramble your data so no one can read it. For years, only the technical elite could use this powerful tool until StartMail.
Hi there. One sec.
StartMail not only lets you encrypt the email
getting
you send,
error messages
it encrypts
in
your
YouTube.
entire account. Encryption. It's just
So
one
the
more
error
way.
messages said the
StartMail.com
stream will
keeps
stop
you
soon.